Hey guys, in this video we will learn the concept of sorting. It's important that we understand how sorting works for a couple of reasons. A, because it's a common day-to-day task where we may have to sort elements. So we should understand what is there in JDK that we can use to sort elements. B, without understanding hashing and sorting, we cannot fully understand the inner workings of sorted collections like sorted set, sorted map in the form of tree set and tree map. And even hash map uses some sort of sorting. Okay, so moving on, how do we sort elements in Java? Consider this example where we have a list of integers 1, 4, 2, 3, and let's say we have to sort the elements in this list. How can we do that? There are a couple of ways to do that sorting. So let's try one of them. What we can do, we can use, for example, utility class collections, and we can call the sort method and pass it the list. That is one way of sort the element. So if we call the collections.sort and then print the list, then we should see the numbers in order. So if we run the program, oh, it says unsupported operation exception. That's because we are using list.off method to create a new list, which is an immutable list, and immutable list does not support this sorting method. So we cannot really use collections.sort. What else can we use? Another way is to use the sort method of the list class. So if we try to use nums.sort and it accepts a comparator, but because we don't know anything about comparator as of now, so let's say we pass this as null. And if we run this code now, we see the same exception because it is an immutable list that does not support sorting methods. So how can we sort such kind of list? What we can do, we can use the sorted method of stream, and then we can collect the sorted list. To do that, we will say something like nums.stream. First we get the stream, and then we sort the stream, and then we collect the sorted stream in a list by using the collector. So this is the sorted list. We say sorted nums, and now we can print the sorted numbers. This time if we run this code, we should see the valid response, the valid output, which is numbers in increasing order. And that is common knowledge, isn't it? If we are sorting the numbers, then by default they will be sorted in their ascending order. And for example, instead of numbers, if we have a list of strings, then we know if we sort n number of strings, by default they will be sorted in their alphabetical order. Now this order is called natural ordering. Natural ordering is basically the default ordering of an entity. For numbers, it is their increasing order in ascending order, and for strings, it is the alphabetical order. So this is the natural ordering. Now if we comment this code and uncomment this code, what we are trying to do is we have a class student, which is a custom class, and it has three properties: roll number, name, and date of birth. And then we have toString method in the class so that we see a nice output on the console. All right. What we need to do is we are trying to add the elements to a list so that we have a list of students. And then what we need to do is we need to sort the list. Now, if we try to do the same thing with this list, what do you think will happen? So let's try to do that. If we call the sort method on the list, and then if we print the student list, we see a compilation error because we need to import the array list. Okay, running it again. So it says that this class, basically student, cannot be cast to comparable. Means if we have a custom class, we cannot directly sort it. The reason behind this exception is because Java has no idea how to sort two students or how to compare two students. In general, how do we sort elements? We compare them. All right. So if we are sorting numbers, we compare them, and that's how we know that number A is greater than number B. So it will come after A. Similarly, if we are sorting based on the weight, then we compare the items, and that's how we know which one is heavier and which one is lighter. So bottom line is, if we want to sort elements, we should be able to compare them. And in this case, because this is a custom class, so Java has no idea how to compare them, and that's why it's not able to sort them. So instead of failing silently, what Java does, it throws an exception. It says that I don't know how to sort them. And you need to figure out what else we need to provide to Java so that it is able to understand the comparison and so that it can sort the elements. So I hope you understand the problem of sorting. If we want to sort custom classes, we need to understand how to do that. So if we notice, the exception says student cannot be cast to java.lang.comparable. So something inside the sort method is trying to convert or cast student class in a comparable. So let's see what this comparable is so that we can understand what's going on in the sort method. If we open the comparable from the JDK documentation, then we see that this is an interface. So comparable is an interface, and the documentation says that this interface imposes a total ordering on the objects of each class that implements it. Now this ordering is referred to as the class's natural ordering, and the class's compare to method is referred to as its natural comparison method. If we come back to the program again, it says that comparable is used to define the natural ordering of the class that implements this interface. Now we are talking about the natural ordering again. The thing is, if we want to define the natural ordering of a custom class, then we implement the comparable interface. By natural ordering, we mean that the default ordering. So in this case, because we have the student class, now think about it, how do we want to sort the student? It could be by roll number, by name, by date of birth. All three parameters are valid parameters for the sorting. Students can be sorted based on the roll number, maybe in their ascending order of roll number, or name by their alphabetical order of names, and date of birth in ascending order of date of birth or in descending order of date of birth. So all three parameters are valid. But in order to sort students, we need to provide the parameter. We need to tell that yes, I want to sort students based on their roll number or name or date of birth. Now, by natural ordering, we mean that if we don't provide anything, then by default, for example, students must be sorted based on their roll number. It's up to us how we define the natural ordering. So if I say, if I don't provide you anything, then sort the students based on their name. It's up to me, or it's up to us how we define the natural ordering. So whatever we decide, whatever we define the natural ordering of our custom class, that natural ordering is defined or implemented by the use of comparable interface. So we use comparable interface in order to define the natural ordering of a class. All right. So how do we do that? We know that in order to sort the students, we need to implement the comparable interface, because otherwise Java is not able to sort them. So let's implement the comparable interface. Comparable of T, which is student. Now comparable is an interface, so we need to implement the methods. But in this case, comparable has a single method, compare to. So we implement the compare to method. All right. By default, the compare to method returns 0, but by definition, it returns an integer. Integer value represents the comparison between two student objects. If we go to the documentation, then it says that, going down, it says that a negative integer, it could return a negative integer, a 0, or a positive integer, as this object is less than, equal to, or greater than the specified object. So negative integer means less than, 0 means they are equal, and positive integer means this object is greater than the specified object. All right. By default, we are returning the value 0, which is not very useful. So we need to return a valid integer value, because we decided that by default, if we don't provide anything, students must be sorted based on their roll number. So roll number is the natural ordering that we are going with. So instead of returning 0, we will return a valid integer which represents the comparison based on the roll number. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to return the difference of the roll number. All right. This time, after implementing the comparable and overriding compare to method, if we run the same code again, this time we don't see any exception. And if you notice, the student list is basically in the increasing order of their roll number. So first roll number 1, then roll number 2, and then roll number 3. So although we added students out of order in the list, but because we implemented comparable interface correctly based on their roll number, so the students that we see on the console, they are in the right order. Roll number 1, followed by 2, and followed by 3. So that's how sorting works in Java, especially the natural sorting. Now in this case, if we don't provide any comparator, any explicit criteria, then this comparable defines the natural ordering, and in this case, students will be sorted based on their roll number. Bottom line to remember is that whenever you think about the natural ordering, then think about the comparable. All right. Whatever we give in the comparable is the natural ordering of that entity. That's it.